He was born in Central Asia around the mid-12th century, into a Turkic world of borders without mercy, where survival depended on the sword, not names. This was an age of raids, caravans burned, villages vanished overnight. Children were not protected, they were currency. One day, violence came to his life before he could choose one. Not a war he understood, not an enemy he recognized. A raid, fast, brutal, efficient. He was taken young enough that history didn't record his screams. He was taken to the slave market like merchandise. Not questioned, not named. Age checked, teeth checked, arms pulled, strength tested. Traders didn't ask where he came from. They asked how long he would last. Children like him were lined up, not for mercy, but for purchase. Boy who could survive travel, hunger, punishment, was worth more than one who cried. Silence increased the price. He was bargained with intent, not kindness, not charity. Power in that age was built by ownership. He was chosen because he did not hesitate, because pain did not slow him, because silence meant control. He was fed, trained, and beaten into shape, turned into a weapon that could think, body that followed orders without delay. Children like him were purchased for one reason only: they could be molded completely. No family to protect, no name to defend, no past to return to. He was not bought to live better, he was bought to be used. Clothes changed, language stripped, identity erased. Days became drills, pain became instruction, obedience became survival. He learned to ride before he learned to rest, to strike before he learned to speak. Failure was punished, and endurance was rewarded. By the time training ended, the boy no longer existed. Only a weapon remained. Training stopped. Now mistakes meant death. He was thrown into the line. No shield, no second chances. Orders were simple: advance, break, hold. Those who failed vanished. He learned speed because slow men died. He learned control because rage wasted lives. Battles judged him, not masters. Victories kept him alive. Each field hardened him. Each command raised him. After the second battle of Terrain, while the main clash was fought elsewhere, he was entrusted with what decided everything that followed: holding captured land. Delhi and Ajmer were unstable. Resistance remained. Authority was fragile. He was sent to secure them. Revolts were crushed. Control was maintained. Territory did not slip away. That mattered. Anyone can fight once. Very few can control conquered land. He did both. And his name was Qutb-ud-Din Aybak. First Delhi, then Ajmer, cities taken, routes secured, resistance exposed. The next target was obvious: a fort that could restart the war. Ranthambore, high ground. Stone walls, one purpose: defiance. The plan was simple and merciless. No rush, no glory. Charge, surround, isolate, starve. Supply stopped moving. Messages stopped leaving. Hope drained day by day. Inside the fort, fighting didn't end, it turned inward. Short rations, wounded untreated, morale collapsing. Outside, pressure never eased. Every failed sortie cost lives. Every delay weakened them further. When the walls finally broke, there was no victory speech, only silence from a fort that had bled dry. That's how control expanded. Not by impulse, by design. That was the plan. And that is how Qutb-ud-Din Aybak turned victories into a system that could not be undone. Then his master died, and Qutb-ud-Din Aybak became ruler, not by overthrow, but because the system had no other center left. he declared independence. Delhi became the center, command became law. His rule was not about expansion, it was about survival. He ruled briefly, but long enough to lock power into the ground. Then it ended suddenly, an accident, a fall from a horse. No final campaign, no long reign, but the structure held. Because this was never a story of luck, it was the story of a system built by discipline, violence, and control. That is how Qutb-ud-Din Aibak ended his life. A man who entered history as a slave and left it as a ruler.